In this week's Torah portion, we learn about the sin of the golden calf, one of the worst things that happened in all of Jewish history. But what positive lesson can we take from it? Shalom, friends. This is the Kibbutz Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe and continue the conversation down below in the comments with questions and ideas. So, as I was saying in this week's Torah portion, we learn about the sin of the golden calf. But before we get to that, I want to share with you something we learned in the opening verses of this Torah portion called Tisa. At the beginning of this Torah portion, there is a count, there is a census that is happening for the nation. And in Judaism, we don't count people 1, 2, 3, 4. There's an idea of an ayin hara, an evil eye. So we don't count people, we count things. So already in ancient Israel, the Torah gave this commandment to count people through a half a shekel that each person would give. Everyone gave shekel, a half a shekel. And then all the half a shekels were collected, and then they were counted. And that was the way that they would take a census. That half a shekel would be used first in the Mishkan, in the sanctuary, and later on in the temple that stood in Jerusalem for all the different things that needed to be purchased in order to do the daily worship that was necessary and done there. But it's interesting, it wasn't just a regular coin, it was half a coin. It was a half a shekel. It was a coin that was worth half a shekel. Why a half? You know, the Torah is so much about, as we say it in Hebrew, shlemut, perfection, completeness, wholeness. Why half a shekel? And so there's a beautiful and important teaching in that teaches us, that shares with us, that each one of us should look at ourselves as not complete, as not whole, as half, right? And we're in this world, we're born into this world to do the work that will hopefully bring us one day to completion, to wholeness. And at the same time, we should see that we are half, other people are also halves. And only when we come together do we bring fullness and completeness into our lives and into the world, that we need each other, that we need to work with one another. And that was really a huge part of the whole Mishkan, the sanctuary, that each person did something else. That they contributed, they donated of their money. If they were an artist and they worked on a certain part, creating it with the wood, with the woven fabric, with the gold, all the different things that needed to get done. We needed to work together as a nation, and the half a shekel teaches us that. Now, moving on to the sin of the golden calf, we did something catastrophic as a nation, and we sinned with the golden calf. Moses goes up the mountain, Mount Sinai, for 40 days, 40 nights, and we're anticipating his return. And the nation gets worried that he's not coming back, and they think he'll never come back. So right away, they create this golden calf and they start dancing around it and celebrating and worshiping it. And that's what Moses sees as he comes down from the mountain, holding the first set of the 10 commandments. How could it be? And that's the essential question here is, how could it be that a nation that just 40 days before saw the unbelievable miracles of God's revelation on Mount Sinai, how can they, less than 2 months later, less than a month and a half later, sin so terribly? And one teaching connected to this, one answer, is that despite the fact that somebody might have a powerful, earth-shattering, even life-changing spiritual experience, it doesn't mean it's going to stick with them forever. It doesn't mean that it's going to change them forever. They have to do the work. They have to do the day-to-day kind of spiritual work and growth to really internalize that experience, to make sure that it really changes them and doesn't allow them to go back to what or who they were before. Right? And so it's a really powerful example. The whole nation of Israel goes through this tremendous experience on Mount Sinai, and then the whole nation sins, right? With the sin of the golden calf, worshiping this idol after just hearing from God Himself not to worship idols. Right? And it's a tremendous teaching for us that we shouldn't, you know, we should love ourselves, we should support ourselves, we should, trust ourselves, but we also have to realize that we shouldn't rely on past experiences. We should only rely on the work that we're doing in the here and the now and the day today, in order to keep those powerful experiences that we experienced in the past and the accomplishments that we've had in the past, continuing to inspire us to move forward and to grow and to become the most complete versions of ourselves, just like with the half a shekel, right? That we are these half beings, we're a work in progress, and we're going towards wholeness and completeness. And it's a daily kind of work. And we should take those experiences that we have, use them to inspire us, but not rely on them, right? If they're in the past, continue to do the work in the here and now and today, and we'll be well on our way to wholeness and completeness, both as individuals and as a nation.